Hello YouTube, this is Flights in Asia and I'm back with this edition for May 26th of the latest aviation and travel updates from within the Asia Pacific region. And in this week's edition, we are going to be discussing some news and developments related to some trans-Pacific routes along with some of the updates of travel from Japan to Southeast Asia with ANA. But first, we are going to be starting with the first country that I wanted to bring up, which is a country that I normally don't put videos on, but have reinstated some domestic flights. So, India, new updates from India's aviation sector. There has been some chaos, but for the most part, Indian domestic flights have resumed. And as of now, there has been around 380 flights that were scheduled. This is just May 25. And on this one, on this article from the Indian Express, we have some uh, first-hand accounts right now. There has been over 80 cancellations of flights at Delhi airport and 20 in Bengaluru. And then I believe that the Indian government has imposed some, no, actually the states have imposed some quarantine measures varying depending on the state of where the domestic travelers are arriving. So for example, there are some uh, destinations such as, I believe, some states such as Kashmir and Jammu. I'm looking for the source of that, but I believe it's here. Go ahead and read that here. Anyways, I know I kind of lost it here somewhere. Here you go. Most of the states' governments have decided to put passengers arriving from other states in an institutional quarantine of 7 to 14 days. Others made home quarantine for a fortnight mandatory for the travelers. So yes, India is apparently back in business when it comes to domestic travel. Now there is no word related to international flights. Um, Flights will still be limited. So good news for the Indian aviation industry right now, and a positive sign for much of Asia, which is actually recovering from the ongoing pandemic. Now, the next thing I wanted to bring up has been the Trans-Pacific travel scene, and we're getting some updates, and we're gonna discuss first Delta Airlines, the Atlanta-based carrier, and in a recent update to their Trans-Pacific plans and their overall network, they are looking to resume flights to Shanghai by, I believe this is for late June. Wait a minute, for June. So actually, no, this is not late July. This is for June actually. So they are already serving flights out of Seattle and Detroit to Seoul Incheon and Tokyo Haneda, with the Tokyo Haneda route with being served only by the Seattle on a less than daily service, and Seoul to Seattle also less than daily, and then you have daily services to Detroit to Seoul, their Trans-Asia hub with Korean Air. Now, the plans for the Trans-Pacific flights, Delta is looking to resume flights to Shanghai, and apparently now this is updated to include a stopover in Seoul. So I'm not sure if this is gonna have a Detroit to Seoul, Incheon, and then to Shanghai, which they are actually doing cargo flights between Shanghai and Seoul, so they might be including that now. Then we also have Seattle to Shanghai via Seoul, Incheon. So I'm assuming the aircraft as are going to be coming in from. So you're going to use Seoul as the hub, and Delta will be operating the flights. I'm not sure the Fifth Freedom flights will be guaranteed for this, so which is going to be an interesting take on it. Yeah, other than that, Delta is operating cargo flights from their main US hubs, and for the most part, 90% a reduction on their overall international operations of compared to before the pandemic. Um, and actually, this is actually a few weeks ago when I first saw this. A few days ago, didn't mention the stopovers, but since then they've updated. And again, these airlines are regularly updating the schedule, so this is why I'm trying to do these, because sometimes it just like actually, as a matter of fact, it just says here that this was just updated yesterday, May 25. Now, the other airline I wanted to bring up related to Trans-Pacific travel is Air Canada. I'm just gonna go put this here. And actually one of the more interesting things going on right now with Air Canada. They have been operating limited flights from Vancouver to both Hong Kong and Seoul. So, for example, Vancouver and Hong Kong is currently being served by a twice weekly flight schedule, and Seoul Incheon from Vancouver twice weekly. By June and August, they've announced some plans for June and July, so they're gonna be bumping up flights and adding trans-Pacific flights out of Toronto to both Hong Kong and Seoul. And also, they're gonna be opening up flights to Tokyo, Haneda, and also that's from Toronto. Now, from Vancouver, it looks like we're gonna see a Vancouver to Tokyo Narita. So we'll see both airports of Tokyo being served by Air Canada, each with a different select service, from Toronto for serving the Tokyo Haneda route, and Vancouver with the Narita. I mean, I got the other way around. I'm sorry. Tokyo Haneda to Toronto, and then Tokyo Narita to Vancouver. And you still have July frequencies. They're planning to bump it up to daily flights on select routes such as Toronto to Hong Kong, Toronto to Seoul Incheon, and also Vancouver. Now, actually, they're going to be starting flights to Beijing by July, or at least planned flights. So we're seeing it now on the schedules: Vancouver to Beijing and Shanghai. So they're looking to do daily flights. Now, this is subject to government approvals, and this could change again. As for the Hong Kong and Seoul flights out of Toronto, we're looking at a start of daily flights starting June 24th. So there you go. Bumping up the frequencies of trans-Pacific flights over the next few months, which is a good sign, a very good sign of travel scene in Asia Pacific, and also for the trans-Pacific travel scene from North America to the Asia area. The next airline I will bring up that recently announced some changes to their flight plans is Japan's All Nippon Airways, which updated their flight schedules a few days ago, and specifically they made some changes to some of their select Southeast Asian destinations of Bangkok, especially Manila. Actually, Manila was apparently they are operating the Tokyo Haneda to Manila flights. I'm looking at for here. So currently they are operating Tokyo Haneda NH869 and NH870. Now, for the current operation, they are not operating the Tokyo Haneda to Manila flights, but they are operating the NH870, which is Manila to Haneda. This one is on a twice weekly schedule, but starting June 3, we are seeing that they are gonna be starting to operate the round trip. With the exception of June 8th, from what I see here. And then we have it on a twice weekly schedule, which is a good sign now. So we're seeing some flights from Japan to Manila starting up. Right now, in terms of the other flight to Manila, NH819 and H820, the service to Narita, between Narita and Manila, is going to remain suspended. Other destinations, like I believe it says here, Jakarta, still suspended. Other routes such as Bangkok and Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh are going to be served by a one-way trip from those cities back to Tokyo, either Narita or Haneda. So for example, here from Bangkok, looking for that flight for Bangkok right here. So NH847 Haneda Bangkok will not be operating. However, the NH850, the return flight, is going to be operating on a daily basis, so we're seeing that. Another thing to note in terms of trans-Pacific travel, again, we are going to see the resumption of some services. Now, ANA is actually going to be starting to launch some flights to San Francisco from Narita. So NH8 and 7 is expected to start around June 1. And you can see right here, this schedule, I believe, is going to be on a twice-weekly basis. And it's going to be on a Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday schedule, with the exception of the departure on June 1, which falls on a Monday. Now, interestingly, ANA is looking to operate more trans-Pacific flights, but for now, I think they're going to stick with the Los Angeles, and I believe they're also flying to New York here, so take a look at that. We could be seeing more route increases. So here we go. NH10 and NH9 from between Narita and New York is on a once weekly basis. a round trip. Haneda, New York remains suspended. You can take a look at this at the complete schedule for ANA's website under coronavirus flight schedule updates. The last airline I want to bring up actually is Garuda Indonesia, which, okay, let me close this. They've released an update on their flight schedules, the last update on May 22nd, and they have, because of limited schedules of the other airlines that are now being operated, pending, assuming that you have the proper documentation and government approvals, they are actually opening up some domestic routes. So you're seeing here gradual increase of services going on in Indonesia right now. So this is a good news for the Indonesian domestic sector. And again, Indonesia has been easing their travel restrictions within the country. Now, international routes, we're seeing some increases and more routes being added in now. And since the last few weeks, they have been opening up some routes. So Jakarta Haneda, May 7 on a twice weekly basis. Jakarta Incheon, twice weekly. And we also see Jakarta Sydney too. So also Melbourne as well. And good news, Bali. And now we also see the Jakarta to Amsterdam flights, the link between Indonesia and the Netherlands, operating on a once weekly basis, and this has been going on since March 7. So that's actually really good news. Now also I just want to close this off as with an update related to the Thai Airways situation. Now last week I reported that Thai Airways has sought the Thai government was asking for a rehabilitation plan, and I believe they've been working on it together with the Thai government, Thai Airways, and now the Thai government is placing the airline under the bankruptcy proceedings, and with that, the Thai Finance Ministry is selling some of its stakes. So therefore, they are no longer the Thai Finance Ministry. The current or the former majority stakeholder has sold some of the stock or the stake, making it the airline no longer a state enterprise. Very big news from Thailand, and I probably will be doing a more dedicated video to this issue later on, so stay tuned for that. That's very much it now for now with the in terms of the aviation and travel updates related to flight schedules. India, very good news. If you're in India, let me know if what's going on over there, if there's anything else I missed. I believe there's flight schedule restrictions. Some airports are not going to be able to serve many flights. There's going to be some caps on it for now, and I could not confirm if there's any fare caps. I'm not sure about that. So if you're in from India, let me know. Feel free to chime in on that. And also, if you're from any other country and I missed anything the last few weeks, feel free to also send some updates to me, and I'll probably put that up the next time I launch these videos. And this is a weekly segment. This is the edition for May 26th. If you like this video, please like, comment, and also share and subscribe and help out. Please help me out here. Also, if you like this channel and the content, feel free to subscribe to the channel. And for all the latest updates in aviation and travel from within the Asia Pacific. So once again, this is Flights in Asia signing off. Thank you very much for watching and taking some time to watch and spend time with me here today. Have a great day, ladies and gentlemen, and stay safe.